Namaste everyone. Jai Hind. Today we'll discuss about Kashmir. After the Supreme Court has agreed that the abrogation of 370, Article 370 is quite valid, we discuss about Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, and the future of Jammu and Kashmir from the Vaastu perspective. Now, Kashmir, as we know, is one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's called Jannat or paradise. Even in the autobiography of a yogi, in the autobiography of a yogi, Paramahamsa Yoganand, when he visits Kashmir and when he visits Mexico, he mentions that of all the places he has visited in the world, Kashmir is one of the most beautiful. Despite all its beauty and its uh, synonymous association with paradise, it has actually been a hell to a lot of people. It has been a hell to Kashmiris, the Kashmiri Pandits, the Kashmiri Muslims, and to everybody who has had a relationship with Kashmir. The Pakistan is now Kashmir. In fact, they added Kashmir into the word Pakistan as K, as because they were also under the impression that Kashmir would be a part of Pakistan. India, when we consider India as Bharat Mata, we know that the head of Bharat Mata is Kashmir. So Indians also revere Kashmir because Kashmir comes from the term Kashyap. Kashyap Muni from the Caspian Sea came down to Kashmir and settled down there. This is part of Aryavrata, part of Bharatvarsha, Bharat, where since ages the saints have blessed this place. Adi Shankara walked all the way from Kaladi in Kerala to Srinagar in Kashmir because of the reverence he held for Kashmir, for Srinagar. Srinagar, as you know, is the city of Goddess Lakshmi. Even now, this is one of the most powerful Hindu areas, and it is the place where a lot of Hindu temples have existed. This is also revered by Christians because a lot of evidence is surfacing that Lord Jesus has spent his post-resurrection time in Kashmir and he was buried in Kashmir. Rozabal, a famous shrine in Kashmir, is revered even by Muslims and they consider that Jesus Christ has spent his last term here. This is one state where even Guru Nanak has blessed by his tour of Kashmir and Ladakh. The greening of Ladakh is contributed to Guru Nanak Ji. He used a brush. That time the brushes were neem sticks and sticks of different plants, and he planted that back into the soil, and that sprung to become a tree, which is called Dautunu Sahib. So every saint, every person who has historical significance as well as religious significance has been to Kashmir. Yet this place is always under turmoil. Let us go into the depths of the Kashmir Basin, analyze it from the numerological aspect as well as the Vastu aspect. How the changes of time have created different uh, ambiguities in Kashmir and what is the future of Kashmir. Let us go through this. Now let's start with the Gilgit-Baltistan area, which was occupied by Pakistan because Kashmir, the king of Kashmir, decided to be a part of the Indian domain during the partition. And this was forcibly, this area, Gilgit and Baltistan, was forcibly occupied by Pakistan. So Gilgit, the hidden meaning, it means a lot of love, a lot of money, and help from others. Gilgit scouts actually were part of Gilgit. They were occupied and they were defeated by Pakistan. So Pakistan got help from the British indirectly to get this area under them. Now, guilt and gateway, till. So all these hidden meanings have an effect on this area. Burushan is another name for Gilgit Pakistan. It has leadership, it has aura, it has abru, that is honor, arush, bulrush, buzz, bush, bar, dash. So see, slur, slab. So it is not that Gilgit Pakistan, after it has been a part of Pakistan, is happy with Pakistan. On the contrary, Gilgit Pakistan is now bubbling with anxiety, with a new found energy to join into the Indian dominion. And in future, it might happen. We'll go into more details later. It might happen that Gilgit Baltistan may again rejoin India. Baltistan, again, Satan comes in. The hidden meaning is the numerical value is 6, the lots of love and affection from the Indian side as well as from the Pakistani side, but still they are not happy. And that is because of the hidden meanings which are there: abstain, bal, banyas, basalt. There are a lot of minerals in this place, so Pakistan is using it to become rich and keep them in poverty. In Sindh, Satal, so the Indian connection of Satal is saints, Sati, Latina. Everybody is involved in this. The deeper you go into the meanings of this place, the more you realize that there is something called unhappiness prevalent in this place. Now, why do these things happen? I would say that one of the main reasons is the way we name a place. The moment we change the name of a place, the energies of that place change. For example, we have all experience of Chennai being called Madras, the erstwhile Madras state and the city of Madras. Everybody in India used to call Madrasis as mad people, emotional, always off their head. After the name changed to Chennai, people have started respecting Chennai. Channapatna was the original name. Gradually, it became Madras. There is a funny story about this. Chennai is full of Andhra people. It's the border of Andhra and Tamil Nadu. So at that time, it was said that the British couldn't pronounce Channapatna. So one British officer, could be Lord Clive himself, asked the locals, what is the name of this city? That guy told him that it is Channapatna. He couldn't pronounce it. And then again asked the guy, what is the name of this place? The irritated guy says, Madarasko. Madarasko is a slang term for wipe your ass. He got so frustrated that the Britisher couldn't pronounce the name Channapatnam that he said Madarasko. So Madarasko is a slang for wipe your ass. So the British thought that that is the real name of Channapatnam and they started calling it Madras. And the hidden meaning in Madras is mad. If you remember, somebody must have told Clive, of course, the East India Company headquarters was in Calcutta. They shifted from Calcutta to Chennai to Madras, the south of India. And ever since East India Company became the most powerful European company, and it almost captured the whole of India, the hook of crook. It was, of course, later on abolished, and the country, Britain took over, and then they started ruling over British India. So this is how the change of a name can affect, and the change of position. Robert Clive was actually not in a strong position when he was in Calcutta, but the moment he shifted to Chennai, Madras, they became the most powerful uh, European country in India, and they overtook the whole country. This itself shows us by experience how Vastu plays a role in changing the future of any country. Now, that is why when you have names like Baltistan, when you have places like uh, Deosai Mountains, Deosai is die. The hidden meaning itself is die. So a lot of people have died. Indus also was Sindhu River. It is not Indus. So these are names which crop up during history because of mispronunciation of names, and they stick, and they stick, and they wield a stick, and then unfortunately create problems to the people of that country. Kargil. There was a fight over Kargil, and we all know that. And we had to repulse the Pakistanis from Kargil. I've been to Kargil, so I know that the people in Kargil are slightly different from the rest of Kashmir. Like Srinagar, like the core of Srinagar is where the terrorism is strongly entrenched. And again, it's there in Kargil. If you see the name, it is almost skill, and it is power and knowledge. They think that they are very powerful. They try their best. Even now, though it is a part of Ladakh currently, they still harass the Ladakhis. Even the taxis, unions of Kargil try to have a say over the taximen of Ladakh. They even beat them up so that they don't come over to this area and take the tourists from Kargil. It is that missing. It is so bad. The situation is so bad that the Ladakhis have even represented to the government of India to make Kargil a separate union territory. They just don't want Kargil to be part of Ladakh. This is the facts of Ladakh. Why? Just because of the name. I would say, as a Vastu consultant, as a numerologist, change the name and see how much people change. Madras is one example. Mumbai is another example. Bombay, even during 1919, the naval uprising, before the naval uprising, there was a bomb blast. One of the ships got blasted because of ammunition. The fire, the ammunition dump in the ship caught fire. And then the whole city, the docks had a major blast. And Bombay, when the name was Bombay, we always had bomb blasts, always, one after the other, continuously. And we had mob at bay. Every slight incident would make the Hindus and Muslims fight against each other. The 1993 riots are famous. We just cannot forget them. I'm a Mumbaiker. I stay in Mumbai, so I know what we have gone through. And after we changed the name to Mumbai, everything went cool. Though there was an attack by Pakistan, and we had the city burning because of the terrorists, there was no communal riots. Everybody took it peacefully, though Muslims and Hindus both were killed by the terrorists. They did not at all manage to instigate a communal riot in India, in Mumbai again. And ever since, there have been no communal riots. But Mumbai as a city has become mum. Bai. Bai is a term for a lady in Marathi. So the change of name has made people very docile, they lost their aggressive tendencies and they become very calm and collected and united. So even though there were chances of getting embroiled in riots, the people as a group have refrained from getting emotional and then getting into a war-like situation. So same thing happens when you have a name and the hidden meanings are seen. Grail, Holy Grail. So in future, people will realize that Jesus Christ has really been here, and we have a relation with Christianity in India, because a lot of Indians believe that Christ was here even during his missing years in Jerusalem. So he was in India to become a God-realized soul. He attained Samadhi in India. He's even traveled to Benares, he went to Puri, Jagannath Puri, and he's been to Ladakh. And he's again been to Ladakh after his resurrection and after he uh, uh, came back into flesh after his crucifixion. This is how history tells us its own story. Jhelum River. Another very important fact, the very fact that Jhelum has been a graveyard for a lot of people, even during the conflicts of 1947, when the country was divided into three parts. East Pakistan, West Pakistan, and India. Jhelum had a lot of dead bodies. And even during the terrorist peak of terrorism, I was in Kashmir during the peak of terrorism also. I was even there in uh, Lal Chowk and all those areas. The Kashmiris used to stare at me, thinking, this madcap, this Indian has come into Kashmir. How dare he do that? But I was there. I was there. And the locals tell us that when a boy goes into the mosque for his prayers, There's no guarantee that he'll come back home alive. Either he's indoctrinated and shifted towards terrorism, or his body is found in the jail. You either join or you die. So the genome had a lot of dead bodies, and these are facts told by Kashmiris. So see the hidden meanings, evil, and it doesn't stop here. In my opinion, future will also have dead bodies on Jhelum unless and until we change the name of the river. Now we have done one good thing is we have changed river Neelam into Kishan. I'm not saying that Kishinganga is devoid of negative meanings because this also has ash, though it has Isha. The very fact that Neelam has a mill in it when you consider river, and this was also a source of a lot of uh, agony to the people of Kashmir. Mular Lake is another example. This lake is one of the strategic points of Kashmir. If India decides to withhold water from the Gular Lake to go towards Pakistan, Pakistan is finished. And Pakistan also knows that. Now let's see the hidden meanings in Gular Lake. You have 9, you have 2, which is bad karma. And people become emotional. So the fear that India will stop waters from Gular Lake is one of the worst fears of Pakistan. They are always worried that we will stop the water from here. And the hidden meaning is war. So in future, though we have abrogated Article 370, which is one of the best things done by the Indian government, because I've been to Kashmir before the abrogation, and then now the situation, there is a ground difference. People are more happier, they're more safe, they're more secure. But if you see the hidden meanings, there is a chance that we will again have warfare, we'll again have problems in this area, in this paradise. You can see the hidden meanings. Raw is involved in this area. Rule, we have rake, we have arc, we have aura, we have war, we have uke. Uke is the opponent in Japanese. We have weak, we have rain, wall, we have, I think we have all these hidden meanings. Similarly, when we go to Srinagar itself, it is 9, which is rash. Srinagar, as I told you, was the hub of terrorist activity. The Hurriyat used to rule from Srinagar. The people of Dras comparatively are very mild. The people of Baramulla, the people of Anantnag, the people all over Kashmir were India friendly. But the people from Srinagar were not. Why? That's again, will be attacked again. And though we have a sense of complacency right now, because we have got the Supreme Court also backing the abrogation, it will not be long before Pakistan and China again attack Srinagar and again attack Kashmir, because they are not happy with the judgment given by the Supreme Court, nor are they happy with the abrogation of Article 370, because that actually pulls the rug from their uh, ethical grounds. They always had that Article 370 to support their uh, uh, malpractices in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and in the so-called Azad Kashmir. So let us see, kill and mark, again killing, and mark the way to killing. Gulmarg, though the actual meanings are good, the hidden meaning is mar, means killing. Mars is also there. Pir Panjal range, another very important mountain range, which is the border of Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and a lot of people have been killed through this range. This is one of the easiest ranges for the Pakistanis to infiltrate into India, because from the Pakistan side, it is not at a very high. They can easily, it's more like a plateau from that side, so they can easily climb over from that side and then get down from towards the Indian side. When you go from Jammu to Srinagar, you will be moving parallel to the Pir Panjal range, and from there, any long-range weapon can easily ambush, can pinpoint and shoot vehicles on the way to Srinagar or vice versa. So this is so strategic, and unfortunately, is partly in the Pakistan control. So that is why major infiltration happens from here. Again, see the hidden meanings in aerial. The attacks are from the air, from the upper mountain areas. Anger, anal, grail, grapple, langar. The Sikhs are always involved in Srinagar and Kashmir. It is their holy land also. And as we know, Gulab Singh was also the Maharaja of Srinagar, of Ladakh, and he was earlier a vassal to the Sikhs. The word ninja is also there. Pale. So that means there's a lot of fight which is going to happen again. Until the names change, this is where the Indian government should be proactive, and I would say change all the names, at least from the Indian side. Let us take the example of China. They change the maps, they change the names, and put Chinese names. We should stop doing all this. We should actually, uh, I'm not saying take my services, but take the services of somebody who can really change the names and make them better sounding names with good hidden meanings. Good hidden meanings will change the anger, the recession, the repression, the feelings of repression, the feelings of anger, hostility, punch, but it's pronounced punch if you pronounce it the English way. So you are punching your own city. It's spelled punch also, P-O-O-N-C-H. The hidden meaning is no. So every time you have a name which is wrong, the effect comes to you. The only way to change the future of a place is to change the name of the place. That is why Shakespeare aptly says, what's in a name? It means everything is in a name. See this, Kashmir, dynamic, aggressive, ash. We have ash in it, kash in it. Kash means alas. We have arnis. Arnis are the Filipino martial arts where you use two sticks of the same length and then you fought any attack. So even using sticks to fight, that is how Galwan was so-called attacked by it was attacked by the Chinese using sticks with nails hammered into the sticks. That brutal and that base, like cavemen, that attacked Indian army. And unfortunately, we lost 20 people, including a colonel. But in according to Indian official reports, it's not 40 Chinese who were killed, but 140 Chinese who were killed in the skirmish. We'll go to that later. But these are the enemy kimars. Any Muslim would relate to kimar. That is a long hood which is worn by the ladies to cover their neck. And it's not a hijab. It goes much below. It goes till the chest area. So it shows that uh, uh, Muslims are the dominant community here because Kashmir, the hidden meaning is Khimars. It doesn't mean that they are bad or wrong. It only means that we have to respect their presence. At the same time, we have to understand why they feel isolated and how do we change their opinion. It is changing now because of the abrogation and the support from the Indian government. A lot of universities, when I first used to go there, people used to go all the way to Delhi to study or to Srinagar. And the Ladakhis used to not come to Srinagar to study, they used to go all the way to Delhi to study. Though Ladakh has so much of area, or Kashmir has so much of area, there were no proper schools, there were no proper educational systems in the country, in the state. So this was unfortunately the situation. It has changed now, and a lot of Muslim students also get scholarships from the current government, though it is a union territory. See this, very, very important. SAM. It is not only Uncle Sam playing here, it is surface to air missiles. Rash. So surface to air missiles can happen again and again because the name has not changed. British time, this was much more peaceful because they used to call Kashmir as Kashmir. MERE also, but MIR also. So this thing is leadership. Of course, we have certain negative meanings like ash. Amir is rich. It is one of the rich states, was one of the reasons. But the hidden meanings also have CIA. They also have crash. So it doesn't mean that it is the best name. For that, we have to go back into history and make a new name so that the hidden meanings are changed. And then the state becomes more and more peaceful. This should be the next step by the government so that changes of names make the place a peaceful place. Vaishno Devi, no Vaishno Devi. Mirpur. Everybody remembers whoever was born during 1947 and all. Remember the Mirpur violence. It was not a small thing. It was really, really bad. Rajouri also had a lot of rajas, a lot of killings. Pinab River. Now we'll talk about the rivers later on. How Kashmir and Pakistan and Aksai Chin and Tibet will be affected by the river flow. Jammu. There is a spiritual and material conflict in Jammu. You see the hidden meanings. You have AME, Aligarh Muslim University, JAM, MAM, MUM. So Jammu is always quiet. Even though there are bomb blasts in Jammu, they just keep quiet. They don't go out of the way to come out into the open and go against the conflict which is happening. Jama, just leave us alone, just go, mother, Uma. So it is a spiritual place, but at the same time, it has its negative meanings. So I would say to get peace into, see Zanskar also. Though it is so beautiful a place, there's a lot of power and knowledge. There is arak, liquor, there's rank, sang, zas, ran. People will run from Zanskar because though we have done a lot in Ladakh and Kashmir, the current government, there is a lot to be still done. And the Zanskar River, again, river always has effect because of the flow and because of the name involved. We have Ladakh, again, spiritual material conflict. Land had a dark, dal, kal, time. Time will again show that Ladakh will be attacked again. It will be attacked. So we have to get ready for that too soon. We have a lot of places. Now, let's go. Though I have mentioned this in my earlier video, I'm again mentioning China because this is one of the countries which will be actively involved in the Third World War. It has CIA, it has Han. As I mentioned before, Han is a race in China, which is the most dominant race in China. And wherever you see the hidden meaning Han, there you are sure that the Chinese have a hand in a can, in chains, in China. China has always been in chains. Even during the flooding of the Yellow River, thousands of Chinese died as if they were bound to each other by chains. China is one country where the local people have always been missing. We all remember the Tiananmen Square incident. We also know how Tibetans were massacred by the Chinese. So this is what it is. Tie, bite, bit, BB, be it. So until we change the name of Tibet, of course the Chinese have changed it. But what has happened? By changing it to Xi'an, it's made it even worse. So you are axing the people. Nazis are involved in the sense that you are in a Nazi camp. Z is actually very much involved in Tibet. Now we go to the other side. We are talking about Xin, Xia. Here also it's bad karma. See the correlation between Tibet, again bad karma, and Xinjiang, again bad karma. So the Uyghurs are suffering. A lot of Muslims will talk a lot about the degradation of Muslims or Muslim phobia and all that. But they don't have the guts to raise their voice against China. The treatment with the Uyghur Muslims have had is unparalleled. And yet the whole world keeps quiet. But there is a slight fight between a Hindu or a Muslim, and it becomes the leading news in the world. But nobody dares say anything about the Chinese, though they have almost finished the Uyghurs. If you see here, you have one Rui. Rui means school. They're indoctrinated. They're put into indoctrination. They are actually even uh, treated so badly that they even have memory lapses. Rui is a school. So put into schools and even uh, even their population is reduced by operating them and removing their uh, testicles as well as their ovaries. So this is the fate of Ilgids. And as the world is going higher and higher into Dwapar Yuga, we will all come together, and then a time will come in the next decade that China will go down, and the Uyghurs and Xinjiang and Tibet will get their freedom, and they will decide about their own future. And I would say, from my point of view, from the numerological point of view, we change the names of the places, we change their fate, and we hybridize the place and make it a better place. Saxgram Valley. Now, Indians know that this has been gifted by Pakistan to the Chinese in 1963. It's not their property. The Maharaja clearly has given it to India. Even the British agreed that this has been given by the Maharaja to the Indians. Even during Mountbatten's time, even the chief of the field marshal of the British had all the British officials stand down during the war between Pakistan and India, because the British didn't want to be involved in this anymore. But unfortunately, the divide and rule policy is still working and has made a lot of problems to the whole subcontinent. And unless we change the names, there is going to be border problems, and there's going to be a lot of bloodshed again and again. Lakhs of people will be killed. There'll be a unleash of war. This is hell. We have a lot of hidden meanings, which are keg, a power keg, sages, shame, veil. You have sake, is liquor, the Japanese mesh, maya, malwa, legs. People will be Hamas. Imagine Hamas having a hand in Shakespeare. It will come true. They will play a role here also. So we have to be careful. We have to just change the names, and India can do that. If we have the guts to put 24 seats for Pakistan occupied Kashmir in our Indian constitution, then we should have the guts to change the maps of uh, Gilgit-Baltistan area and call them by different names. Change the names and end the fights, because according to a lot of Indian army officials also, the Siachen Glacier is a graveyard of soldiers. They are dying unnecessarily for no reason because of the high altitude. Again, that's going to be you see, it has a lot of media coverage. It is the highest battlefield in the world. And people just die because of the high altitude. And a lot of soldiers have died, they've lost their lives protecting this area. This is very evident carnage. And it doesn't mean that it will get over. It will happen again because China will attack. You can see the border. We have a border with China. This is Karakoram Pass, a very vital pass. So Siachen Glacier has control over the Karakoram Pass because we are at a height compared to the Karakoram Pass. We can overlook, and that is why the Chinese are always worried about this area. Similarly, this is Pakistan this side. So we have the Saltoro range here, and we have a vantage over the Pakistanis. This is NJ9842. This was the point where it was earmarked as it would be the border between the Indian side and the Pakistani side. And during the 1971 Bangladesh war, and after the war, agreement was signed, the Simla agreement, where this point was marked and was shown to be the de facto border between India and Pakistan, the actual line of uh, uh, control between the two countries is in the Saltoro range area is this line. It is so high and so cold that people, just to maintain the army here, is a burden on the taxpayers' money, and also uh, a definite grave for the soldiers. LAC, leech, linger, in sin, in chains, in China. So the moment China is involved, it shows that China will attack it. We have the Supreme Court ruling, which is a slap on the face of China and Pakistan. So obviously they will not keep quiet. They will do something, and that something is to attack the country again. And that is what I'm trying to get to, that we will have a worst case situation compared to Galwan. They will try to attack, occupy Siachen Glacier. This is where we should be careful. We're talking about some of the highest peaks in the world, which were part of India, which have been gifted to the Chinese. So unfortunately, though I have been to the bases or near to most of the to 8 of the highest peaks in the world, out of the 14 peaks, I've been near to 8 of them, including Shashi Pangma, which is in Tibet, because I've been to Tibet. But I've not been able to go to these places only because it is in Pakistan or right now in China. So this is one thing which any Indian feels, that this was our country, this is part of our country, and yet we are not able to go there. This is Aksai Chin, occupied by Chinese. After the occupation of Tibet, they started building a road from the Tibetan side towards the Xinjiang side. And Nehru was caught unawares. And the conflict between India and Pakistan, China happened because of this road. So Kulun Mountains and soda plains. If you see soda plains, again, aggressive, dynamic, das, in, sin, is hidden meanings show a lot of sadness. They show that there will be fights over this place again and again. I would say just change the name of Aksai Chin, don't keep it. Even Nehru famously said that not a blade of grass grows here. He was just uh, ignorant about the strategic importance of Aksai Chin. And after we lost Aksai Chin, the problems between Ladakh and Srinagar and Kashmir and the terrorism in the Indian part of Jammu and Kashmir has increased after the Aksai Chin occupation by the Chinese. So the moment some landmass loses territorial control, once we lose territorial control, the karma of that place changes for good or for bad. So that is where the Vastu element comes into place. Let's now go into the next part of this, that is the rivers. Very, very important, very crucial. We have the Nadi, the Punjab rivers, the 5 rivers of Punjab, Ravi, Bias, Chenab, Sutlej, Jhelum, all these rivers. Now, if you see Jhelum, you'll see how from Vular Lake, it's starting from beyond Anantnag, and then it goes through Srinagar upwards. Now, we just saw the hidden meaning of Jhelum, how bad it is as a name. Vular, the war lake. I would call it the war lake because the next war is because of Vular Lake. Water is going to be a scarce commodity, and that is going to lead to fights. Already, the Pakistanis have not renewed the agreement for the war of the Shetlands. So this can be a major point of conflict between India and Pakistan. Jhelum is flowing from the southeast of Kashmir, part of Kashmir area. We're not talking about Jammu, we're talking about Kashmir. Because it's not originating from Jammu, it's starting from Kashmir. And it's flowing from the southeast of Kashmir and going up to the north. Now, when a river flows, the direction of flow is very important. When a river is flowing from south to north, it's a good river. It brings prosperity to those areas. So it has brought prosperity to Srinagar, it has brought prosperity to Anantnag, it has brought prosperity to these areas. But in this case, it's moving from southeast to north. And when it's moving from southeast to north, it brings a lot of struggle, a lot of strife, a lot of war-like tendencies, and a lot of agony. So the river flow is very important. Though we have made a lake here, the Kashmiris fondly remember even playing football on this lake when it is frozen. So this is the football ground of a lot of Kashmiri youth. And from there, it's going from the north to the south, flowing the opposite side. And that is why Baramulla, Muzaffarabad, again, where a lot of conflict had happened, a lot of people have died in Muzaffarabad during the partition times, during the tribal incursions into Kashmir. So this, again, is a city where a lot of economy has gone, and see the hidden meaning bad for Muslims, Muzaffar. So it's bad for Muslims. So in their own interest, it's better they change the name. Like even Hyderabad, bad for Hyderabad, bad for Muslims. It doesn't mean that it's only for Muslims, it's bad for Muslims, it's bad for any community. So now the river is going from the north of Pakistan to the southeast of Pakistan because this joins Indus, and then here is Indus itself. And then let's trace this thing of Indus. It starts from the Kailash mountain range, where Mount Kailash and we have Manasarovar and we have Rakshastal. Rakshastal itself has ash as a hidden meaning, is going through Demchok area and going into uh, Kashmir from the Demchok area and then going on and then going towards Ladakh to Leh. And here you have the Zanskar River joining. The Zanskar flows from south to north. So this is a good river because it joins the Indus and then it ends here. So that has brought prosperity to Leh, but the Indus River is nearer to Leh and that has brought prices to Leh and it will bring prices to Leh again because it's moving from the southeast of Ladakh to the northeast of Ladakh. So that is very important. And then from there, it's going into Gilgit-Baltistan and then moving down, taking a U-turn and moving down to the south and then moving southwards. And then the other five rivers, the Chenab, the Ravi, though it is hardly in Jammu, only partly in Jammu, it still is starting in Himachal and then it goes to Jammu and then goes down and joins the Indus and then it goes right down to Karachi. And that is why Pakistan, if you see day by day, it is deteriorating as a country. There's no law and order. There's no peace. Terrorism has actually was the breeding ground, and now it has become the death burial ground of Pakistan. So terrorism is coming back, roosting back home, and then it has affected uh, uh, Pakistan more than any other country. Now, if you see Shayok, now this is where even Siachen Glacier is important because the Nubra River actually starts. It's the origin of the Nubra River, and the Nubra joins the Shayok. Now, I've been to Ladakh many times, so I know this area quite well. It's not just theoretical. I've been through these areas even on my bike, and I've taken people to all these areas. So we move between the Ladakh and the Karakoram ranges, and we move between the Zanskar and the Ladakh range. Then we are traversing through Ladakh. So these rivers, though this river again, Shayok, starts from the Aksai Chin area and then moves from the north to the south. When a river moves from the north to south, it brings destruction. Here, Galwan, the recent case of Galwan, it's moving from the southeast of Aksai Chin and then moving towards from the east to the west. And that is why we had a border problem here. And this was like a shock to the Chinese because they never expected the Indians to fight back. 40, yeah, according to US, there were 40 people killed. According to the Indian records, 140 people were killed. 140 Chinese were killed. Chinese army men, not normal civilians. Trained people were killed but 20 Indians were lost. That is the ratio. That is the guts the Indian army has. So Galwan Valley, we have this again is uh, uh, valley of death. So Shayok, very shy, and it is okay to be shy. Hot springs, again hot. We have all these hidden meanings which Pangong Lake, the 70% of the lake is in Aksai Chin and in Tibet. So only 30% is in Ladakh. It's a beautiful lake, but this again is a bone of contention between the Indians and the Chinese. And the Chinese have built a new bridge over the Pangong Lake. So all this new infrastructure building increases the energy flow and brings more problems to the place. We'll go into that when we discuss the roads. But now, for now, we are talking about the rivers. So the Shayok joins the Indus in Baltistan, and then it flows through Indus into the Pakistan, and then goes to Zeelam, goes to Karachi, and that is why Karachi will be destroyed in future. Islamabad, Rawalpindi, all these states in cities will be destroyed because the rivers have shown no mercy and they're flowing the wrong way. Now, what has happened to Srinagar and to Jammu and Kashmir? Now, this, if you see, is the situation in 1947, during and before the independence of India and Pakistan. So, British, by their policy of divide and rule, decided to split the country into different parts. They even gave the option for princely states to remain as princely states, which is actually again unwelcome situation for either Pakistan or India, because it will create hubs of different countries within a country and create nuisance value to that country. So they gave all these options just to bring India down. A time will come when India or Bharat will again become united, because whatever has been done wrong can be undone, and the future of India is bright. We are moving towards a better situation. Knowledge is resurfacing. People, awareness of people is increasing. So a time will come when we will really do what needs to be done, and we will again reacquire the areas which were part of our country earlier. Now let us see what is the situation, why there was so much of conflict. Among the worst affected areas during the partition was Kashmir. And why? People were killed in lakhs means you can say in millions. Now, if you see, the northwest of Jammu and Kashmir is extended. When the northwest is extended and the northeast is reduced, that brings instability. If you remember, India was always attacked from the northwest, even when it was united. The Mughals, the even Muhammad Ghazni, even the Greeks, they attacked. Muhammad Ghazni did not come into India. He came till the borders and then he went back. He concentrated on Persia and other places, but he did not attack India because he knew India was very, very holy and he would not succeed in winning over India. Even the Greeks, they realized that they couldn't go beyond the Gangetic Plain. They realized that India is not a country that can be tackled. Unfortunately, China and Pakistan think the other way around, and they will learn from experience that they cannot attack this country and get away with it. The moment you attack this country, you get destroyed, because this is so spiritually powerful a country that the moment you harm this country, you get harmed. You are finished. There's no other term for that. And China, by acting too smart, is actually digging its own grave. Now let's see what else is wrong with it. So the northeast is reduced, the southwest is reduced. When the southwest is reduced, there's no sense of belonging. They don't feel that they belong to the place. And that is the major identity crisis of the Kashmiris. Whether it's the Kashmiri Pandits or the Kashmiris themselves, the Muslim Kashmiris, they don't feel that they belong to the state, especially because of the Article 370. They always felt that they were aliens to the country. They used to consider themselves as Kashmiris and not as Indians. The wiping out of the Article 370, I think, is one of the best actions taken by the current government. There are certain things about the current government which I am not in favor, but definitely this is one thing which the government has really done well and has brought a lot of peace to the country, to the state, and to the rest of the country, because every Indian who has joined the army has sacrificed, many of them have sacrificed their lives in Kashmir, even today, because of the situation, Siachen, and the borders. We have lost a lot of our youth to the war, which is a meaningless war. Now, this part of Kashmir is occupied by Pakistan. This was the situation at 1947, and 1947 and 48 they attacked India, the Kashmir state, and then Kashmir joined India, and then this part was occupied by uh, by Pakistanis. Now let us see, when after the Pakistanis occupied Gilgit Baltistan and the so-called Azad Pakistan, Azad Kashmir. What is the situation of uh, the rest of Jammu and Kashmir? So Aksai Chin was a part of Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, Gulab Singh went till here. He captured all these areas long back. This was part of Ladakh. Even this was part of Ladakh. Even the Kailash range was attacked and conquered by Gulab Singh Maharaj. So even Kailash, if you go to see, if China can rewrite history and say that wherever they had attacked and then captured becomes part of their country, then India can also lay claim to Kailash, especially when we have scriptures mentioning Kailash. Even Lord Krishna has been to Kailash. Duryodhana, the Kurukshetra, the last part of Kurukshetra was fought at Rakshasthal. Duryodhana was hiding in Rakshasthal. Lord Parshurama goes to Kailash. Arjuna goes to Kailash to get the Pashupatra from Lord Shiva. What more evidence do you need that Indians have always considered Kailash as part of their country? And in future, it is going to be a part of the country. That's why maybe the Chinese are scared. They're not allowing us to get into Kailash anymore since 2019. Anyway, we'll come to that when we discuss about China. So this is Aksai Chin. So this is the situation when Pakistan occupied Kashmir was separated from Ladakh and Kashmir. Remember, Ladakh is not a part of Kashmir. The British joined Kashmir and Ladakh together for administrative purposes. And Gulab Singh was able to pay the ransom money, and then this state became a state under Gulab Singh Maharaj. And then he paid 7 lakh rupees or something to the British at that time and became a vassal of the British. So Ladakh is not a part of Kashmir. The Kashmiris, the Pakistanis always try to maintain that Ladakh is a part of Kashmir, so it should be part of this thing, the Jammu and Kashmir, so they can occupy Ladakh also. That policy doesn't work because history is written by the victors. So we have this under our control even when this was not there. Unfortunately, the road, like I said before, from Tibet, after Tibet occupation, everything changed for India because Tibet was occupied by China. Again, the same policy that Tibet was originally part of China because the Ming dynasty, I think, occupied Tibet long back. And then Tibet again attained its freedom, but they still say that Tibet was ours because we captured it prehistory time. I mean, much before the World War One and World War Two. So that logic is what China goes by. Even the 7-dash line is a logic by China that whatever we had before during the times of history is ours. If you go to see that way, then Harshavardhan from India had captured even Gobi Desert, had captured half of China. So that means that half of China and even the Gobi Desert of Mongolia should be a part of India. That is the logic which China is talking about, which is downright stupidity on their part. And but because of their financial might and their sudden rise, again thanks to US, thanks to Nixon, and thanks to US, and thanks to Henry Kissinger, China became so powerful and so rich. And then they are misusing their power, and now China is a bet lawyer for US. So it comes back. Even Afghanistan, it is the creation of Mujahideen. In fact, US is the main country which is responsible for terrorism because it has actually brought terrorism into birth by bringing the Mujahideen in, by bringing Osama bin Laden. So, and Bill Clinton goes to the extent of signing an agreement between Israel and Arafat. A terrorist like Arafat is trying, Bill Clinton tries to bring him to the table to have peace with Israel. This is what US plays. It plays games with every country. And though they say that they are Israel friendly, they are not friendly to any country. They're friendly only to themselves. And this, unfortunately, is the situation with the American government. The people are a different uh, scenario altogether. The people have no say over the uh, uh, policies made by the governments, especially in US and in China and in Pakistan. So Pakistani people are really good. When we meet Pakistanis in Dubai or outside the country, we realize that they are so gentle and so good in their nature. Unfortunately, their army and their politicians are not of the same nature. The very existence of Pakistan is by baiting India. So this is the situation. So if you see here, the northeast has increased. And when the northeast has increased and the northwest has reduced, relatively there is peace in that area. So during the period of 1948, 47 to 1961, 62, there was relatively peace in Jammu and Kashmir. After 1961, when Aksai Chin was occupied by China after the 1962 war, the situation changes and we have a different terrain, and we'll discuss about that after a short while. Now let us go to the occupied part of Jammu and Kashmir, which Pakistan calls as Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir. We call it Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and this is a disputed territory. Now we have seen in recent years that Gilgit and Baltistan want to become part of India. I've even been to Turtuk, the border between India and Baltistan. So this culturally they are all one. So one day, someday, they have this dream. And this is also Muslim dominated area, Turtuk. They always feel that they will have again relations between Baltistan and Turtuk and the rest of Ladakh will renew again, because time will tell whether we are right or wrong, but this will again become part of India as it was before. Now, why? From the Vastu perspective, I'm talking purely from the Vastu aspect. If you see, this is like a brain, and this is like the spinal cord of the brain, not even going down till the end, till the seeker, till the last vertebral column. It's just cut midway. But the very fact that this is a shape shows that it is a headless area. The spine is not long, and because of that, the southwest area is missing, the southeast area is missing, because this is part of India, Indian Kashmir, and this is the only part which they have. So because of this odd shape, because there's no southeast and there's no southwest and there's only northwest and part of northeast, this is a very unstable territory. Very, very unstable. And if you realize something, this part of the occupied areas does not attack India, except for the Kargil war, which was a brief skirmish. Every time Pakistan has attacked us from the western front, from the LAC, from the Azad Kashmir area, because the tendency of war is always from west to east. The westerners bring war to the easterners. Even development is the same way. The west of Mumbai is more developed than the east of Mumbai. East develops after the west. So the attacks come from the west. So this is what we have to remember. Then in future, when Pakistan attacks us, they will attack us again from this area. That is a natural tendency because of the movement of the earth. It moves from west to east. So conflict starts from west and goes to east. Even if you see India before partition, India was attacked time and again from the western shores, from the western area. Now, when you consider Pakistan as part of us, we have the Durand line. Afghanistan is one country, the only country in the world which has deflected three superpowers and won against three superpowers. They won against the British during the British conflict, during British India times. They won against the Russians. They won against the Americans. So don't underestimate Afghanistan. And this was part of India before the British divided it. So this area was always attacked. Even Gauri, Ghazni, the Mughals, everybody, Babur, everybody came from the western area and attacked India. But the Europeans, the Portuguese came from Goa, they came from Kerala, and then they were able to establish rule, and they rule for a longer time than even the Mughals. So the moment they attack from the south, they become more powerful, and the attacks are more uh, uh, longer in duration. Occupation is more longer. These are secrets which people don't realize, but experience shows us that they are. This is what I was talking about, Kashmir, Kolkata. From Kolkata, Lord Clive shifted his base to Chennai, and then he went down south, and then the whole country got occupied by the British. So same way, when we see Kashmir, when we see this was much more peaceful. But once we acceded this to, now we go to this part where we are talking about. We are now talking about the areas occupied by China, Aksai Chin, the Vastu of this area. Now see this. Again, it is like a head with a spine. And the spine is extending beyond Pangong Lake, and it's a longer spine. Longer spine indicates longer instability and longer conflict because it doesn't have a southwest. Southwest is missing. Southeast is also missing. So definitely India will again occupy Aksai Chin and make it a part of India again. This is for sure. There's no two ways about it because the Vastu never goes wrong. And the lake itself is dividing that area, dividing, cutting off the vertebrae, and then cutting through the country. Now, when you're talking about the entire Jammu and Kashmir, including Ladakh, the scenario is different, the Vastu is different. We have just seen above. But when you're talking about bits and pieces of it, the scenario is different. So here the instability is more than the instability than it was just Jammu and Kashmir. Here the stability is more. Only this area was the same, unstable. But after Aksai Chin occupied this area, the instability of Aksai Chin has increased. And we have the same situation happening with uh, Saxon Valley. If you see this, if you see the valley, this also has the northeast missing, the northwest extended, the southwest reduced, and the southeast extended. When the southeast and northwest are extended, it definitely shows conflict. It shows relationships breakdown. So that means that this area will again revolt and then become a part of India, either voluntarily or through the Indian Army, because we are to the southeast of Saxcom Valley. We are to the northwest of Aksai Chin. Remember, west to east. So India will attack and reoccupy Aksai Chin when China is in a bad shape. We're just waiting for the tide to change, and the tide will change, and India will win back its territories. We have no intention of occupying other people's countries, but we have every intention of defending what is ours, what is rightfully ours. So no country can stop us from getting us back to our original power of influence. Nobody can stop us because of the knowledge we have, because of the good karma that we have, and because of the spirit which we have. The army which we have is the best in the world because we are ready to die for our motherland, but we are not ready to be under subjugation under any other country anymore. So this is the situation. So we'll be winning this area also because northwest is increased and southeast is increased. There's no southwest, there's no stability, there's no northeast, there's no financial progress. So this, in short, is the situation of Aksai Chin and of Saxcom Valley. Now let us see what has suddenly gone wrong with China. Suddenly, why everybody is against China? Why did the Wuhan virus come in? What suddenly went wrong after Z came in? After Z came in, he decided to have the BRI all over the world. Belt and Road Initiative by Z is the downfall of China. So let us see why. The moment you have a road, it brings energy because it brings vehicular momentum up and down that road. It's like the spine. The energy is moving up and down the spine, influence the brain, and vice versa. So if a brain energies are not good, it affects a spine. Similarly, the other way around. So when the roads are going from the wrong direction, they bring destruction. So the road from Beijing, he proposed a road from Beijing and from Shanghai, and that was going, and the road from Tibet. So remember, this is Tibet, Lhasa is here. I've been through part of this road because I've been through 70% of Tibet 4 times. So from Lhasa we are going, and this road connects to Xinjiang from Xizang. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the Chinese names, but Tibet. The name has changed to Xinjiang by the Chinese. So that is where Tibet is becoming free because the Chinese have changed the name of Tibet to Xinjiang. This is where, like Sheikh Chili, they've cut their own branch. If they had kept the name as Tibet, it would still have been under attack and it would have still been a powerful area of China. By changing their name to a number 4 name and to a bad name, China has ensured that Tibet will become free. So within the next 10 years, China will become free of Tibet. I mean, Tibet will become free of China. And this road is of ample proof of that. This is the road which led to the war between India and China. And after that, we had a war in 1967. They thought that they'll win that war also. This war was also won because of the stupidity of our own politicians. It was a political blunder, a Himalayan political blunder. If that was not the case, India would have won the war easily. We didn't even lose our air force, though we had a better air force than the Chinese. And remember, China is at a plateau, at a top area, the Tibet area, whereas India is at a lower area. So the momentum of aircraft, the payload of aircraft, the fighter aircrafts is more when you're flying from a lower level altitude to a higher altitude. So we can carry more weapons. We can easily destroy Chinese through uh, air attacks. That is why aerial is there in Saskam Valley also. The attack of Saskam will happen through aerial route. We'll be flying and then bombing. We'll be flying and then bombing Aksai Chin. In the beginning, China, as usual, will attack from Aksai Chin, will attack and go toward Oldie Airport and Depsang, and it will try to attack Siachen Glacier, and then we will repair it. We always wait for the attack, but the main principle of any defense is offense is the best part of defense. So once we are mentally and physically strong and we know that the conflict is going to increase, the reason why I'm putting these videos now is because we are going to go through massive wars for the next 2 decades. The World War III will be there. After a brief spell of time of 3-4 years, the World War IV will start. So there's going to be a lot of turmoil, a lot of countries will disappear, a lot of countries will get split, the names will change, countries will change, and there'll be a lot of bloodshed. Population will go down to just 1/3 of the current population. So this is the reason why these videos are put up. So I would say, please share them so that everybody understands and we are ready mentally, physically to tackle the situation which is going to happen in future. So now we know that Aksai Chin is in a weak position. We also know that we have Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Pakistan, Azad Kashmir in a weak situation. Vastu-wise, they are very weak. So don't be under the impression that China will be able to overcome India. It cannot. Now, again, going back to these roads. These roads are taking a U and then going up towards Xinjiang, and then at Khaskar, it again comes down. Khaskar is in Xinjiang, and then from here it goes to Tajikistan, and then to the Central Asian countries, and then to Moscow, and then to Europe. But here it is going down to Gwadar through Gilgit-Baltistan and through Azad Kashmir, the so-called Azad Kashmir. It's going through Islamabad, it's going through Abbottabad, where Osama bin Laden was killed, and then it's going through Lahore. There are many roads which are, some are going through even Dera Ismail. Dera itself is die, so a lot of Muslims will die in Dera. Remember one thing, that in this war, a lot of Muslims will be killed. Muslims will end up killing Muslims because of their foolish policies and because of their wrong strategies. Even the attack on Israel was a very stupid strategy by Hamas. A lot of Muslim lives have gone just because of the attack of Hamas. And that is not the only blunder which the Muslims create. The Middle East will be destroyed because of the conflict between Iran and Saudi, and Yemen and Saudi, and all these conflicts will destroy Muslims as a major community. The worst uh, religion which will bear the brunt of this war is the Muslim community. That is unfortunate, but this is reality. This is just because they have not followed Prophet Muhammad's teachings properly. They have done what is convenient to them, and they have ignored what is not supposed to be ignored. So this corridor, economic corridor between China and Pakistan, is one of the main reasons why China has gone down and why Pakistan has gone down. Many parts of this road are already done, already constructed. Gwadar, War ka Dwar, Dar, there's fear. This is Balochistan. If you see the map of China and Pakistan with occupied Kashmir, then you see that this is like a chicken with this part being Balochistan. And at the tail end, we have Iran pushing Pakistan towards China. And these are the legs of China. Sindh and Karachi is here. So you have the corridor going from China, going from India from this side through Aksai Chin, sorry, through Aksai Chin, going and then going down here. So this is like a chicken and this is like the hen, the mother hen. So Pakistan just blindly follows China. This is very, very evident. The figures, the countries, this is the reality as of today. Cut the head of Pakistan, bring back Pakistan into India, and this becomes a headless chicken, floundering and dying. Catch hold of the battles of uh, China, cut the legs of China, and China is finished. Tibet will be the main reason why China will be split into four parts. So this is very clearly an indication of the hen and chicken association between Pakistan and China. And that is why China has also gone down the moment it has decided and constructed the roads from Beijing and from Shanghai to Gilgit-Baltistan and into Gwadar. China has gone down. 2013 was the cornerstone for the downfall of China because the decision to do the BRI was taken by Xi in 2013. And as he kept building the roads, China has kept on going down financially. 20 years back, when I used to tell my friends and my clients that China will go down, Pakistan will go down, they will be finished, nobody used to believe it. But when you know Vastu clearly, when you know numerology, when you know the pathways of the rivers, when you study a country by its shape, by its presence, by its looks, then you understand the weak points of the country, you understand where the country is heading towards a better future or towards a worse future. So Pakistan and China are not going to be the same size or the same shape. Definitely China, Pakistan will be cut off, the head will be cut off midway, and we will be free of the problem of Pakistan forever. In the next decade, Pakistan is finished. The roads have brought, this is the road of destruction to Pakistan. And this is also the road of destruction to China. Remember, when we talk about the road, the Silk Road, Marco Polo went from west to east towards China. But China is reversing that flow and going from east to west. The moment you're going from east to west, you're making a road. This is the initiative by China, not by the Europeans. Earlier, it was the initiative of the Europeans to come towards China for the Silk Route. Now this is a reversal of the Silk Route, so it's a reversal of energies, and China has gone down after doing it. It's very, very evident the way China has gone down after BRI has come in. BRI has made China bankrupt. Every country now is withdrawing. Even recently, Italy has withdrawn from the BRI. Italy was the first country to join BRI from the European Union, and it is the first country to leave BRI. So every other country will follow, and China will be left with a huge debt. It's already under a huge housing financial crisis. It's having a huge crisis because nobody is importing anymore, nobody is manufacturing anymore in China, so it's going down. So one day, China will just splinter into four groups, four different countries. Now we'll study about China later as a separate video because that's extensive. topic in itself. This is the current situation of our Jammu and Pakistan till 2025, 2019. This was the situation. After Aksai Chin was occupied by uh, uh, by China, the entire Jammu and Kashmir region became very unstable and it became terrorist prone. The Thousand Cuts by Zia ul Haq. I have met Zia ul Haq. Somehow in my life, I met Indira Gandhi. I've spoken to her. I've met Margaret Thatcher. I've met Zia ul Haq. I've met uh, even the Bangladesh President Irshad, because they all came to Goa during the Commonwealth, and I was in Taj working because that time they had the Commonwealth meeting and the retreat was in Goa, and the senior staff children are used for serving the delegates, the high-profile delegates. The normal staff are removed as a security precaution. So that is where I was able to talk to all these heads of state. There was 2 feet, 6 feet two, a tall, handsome guy, and he was the main reason for the Thousand Cuts to India uh, option of cutting India through terrorism and bringing down India. But that has backfired, and now terrorism is main bane of Pakistan itself. And it's one of the reasons why Pakistan will get destroyed. Now, this, when you see the Vastu angle, the southeast has increased, the northwest is cut off because Aksai Chin was occupied by and is still occupied by China. So the shape of Jammu and Kashmir has changed from this to this, and then from this to this. So this is the current situation as of today till 2019. So what had happened was that southeast is extended, southwest is cut off, and northwest is also cut off. When northwest is radically cut off, it again brings instability. When southeast is extended, it brings instability. It brings war, it brings conflict, it brings harassment from others. So India, especially Kashmir, was under the threat of terrorism for decades, right from 1984 onwards, 80, 82, 83. In fact, after 1963, gradually the conflict started increasing. 1979, Afghanistan was occupied by Russia, and then US started the Mujahideens under the guise of Mujahideens, and with the help of Pakistan, they brought terrorism to the front in Afghanistan, and those people were also interested in invading Kashmir and destroying Kashmir and making it a part of Pakistan. So Pakistan diverted the funds sent by US towards the terrorism of Kashmir. So this started in 1979 and increased, and in 1984 onwards, it became a major threat to India. So much so that we at one time were afraid of losing this part of the country to terrorism forever. But fortunately, the current government has done a great uh, service to the country by splitting, by removing the Article 360, and the Supreme Court has also ensured that this has been withheld, this locus standi has been withheld, and now we have the current situation where Jammu and Kashmir are separated into a small area only, and Ladakh has been forever separated. Actually, when you travel to Ladakh, because I've been to Ladakh several times, I've been to Kashmir several times, so I'm talking from my personal interaction with the locals of these places. Even the people in Dras are very, very India friendly. When I was standing in the rain, when I was biking from Zosila, from Ladakh, of course from Mumbai, I biked from Mumbai to Leh, and from Leh, so I know these rivers, I know these roads, I know these rivers firsthand. And then from Kargil, I came to Dras, and then I was going down before from Zosila. I reached Sonamar, and then it rained heavily. The Kashmiris don't know me at all. Of course, I look different from the Kashmiris. They are handsome people, whereas I'm a South Indian, black as a buffalo, and then dark as a buffalo. And then it's obvious that I'm not a Kashmiri. but the way they invite you, it really shows their warmth and their love for the rest of the country. And it is a Western perception and a media perception from the West and from the Pakistan missing that Kashmiris are not happy with India. It is not so. The real threat to India was from the Hurriyat. Even during the Congress regime, the Hurriyat was the main drawback. And I shouldn't say this, but I will say this, that even the Congress government put down the Hurriyat many times just to quell their extra leanings towards terrorism. This is a fact, which we shouldn't put up in videos like this, but I'm trying to be a little of the this thing. So India is always first, whether it's Congress or whether it's BJP or any other government. We first think about our country. So it's not that Congress has not done its role in bringing up Jammu and Kashmir to a level where gradually Article 370 became watered down to article only. Gradually, the Congress has eroded the provisions in the article and brought it to a state where the BJP could abrogate the article totally. And this is a fact. Go through history, you will realize that the Congress also has done a lot to help reduce terrorism and to bring peace to this place. But unfortunately, the beginning of the partition was the time when this conflict started, and that role goes to Nehru and Jinnah, especially to Nehru. I would not say Jinnah to the extent I would say Nehru, and the partition of the country is also because of Nehru, unfortunately, because he was power hungry. He was not at all attached, voted to the Congress as a president. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel got the votes. He did not get a single vote out of the 15 Congress constituencies, not even one elected Nehru. But still he became because he wanted to split the country and still become the prime minister even of a split country. And the British took advantage of that. That is unfortunate, but this is history and this is a fact. So people should understand what really brought the conflict to a certain extent, and then why the Congress is to be blamed for the whole situation is because of Nehru. Indira Gandhi, on the other hand, actually occupied uh, uh, Siachen Glacier. So this is the actual ground position land. So Indira Gandhi is in stark contrast to Nehru. Very brave, very uh, uh, future thinking. In fact, if she was not there, we would still have East Pakistan and West Pakistan forever being problems to India. So she has occupied Siachen, and that was a very strategic, bold move by her. So this is Kashmir now, and if you see, the northeast is reduced, no doubt, because of the Kargil and Ladakh is at a higher level than Kashmir. So if you're talking logistically, Kargil is difficult for Srinagar to administer because it is at a height and the paths are snowbound in winter. So when you are talking about Kargil, Kargil also comes under Ladakh since Gulab Singh times. So though it is Muslim dominated, Kargil is not always. This is Zanskar, this is Kargil. So though it is Muslim dominated and pro Pakistan, it is still a vital element of Ladakh, and so it has been made a part of Ladakh. So in future, whether Kargil will be separated is a different issue, but as of now, it is part of Ladakh, and, and this is Jammu and Kashmir. Now see what is happening. Now the northwest is increased and the south is little reduced, southeast is reduced. When southeast is reduced, again it leads to conflict. And when the northwest is increased, again it leads to conflict. So though the intentions of the government are good, the bifurcation has not helped Jammu and Kashmir. So it will again go to war. This is where I want to put this video up to show that the conflict will not end with the bifurcation, with the abrogation. The conflict will not end. So we have the same situation. The changes are very superficial. Though it is a smaller piece of land, it is still a conflict-prone area. So unless we change, we have to change the country's states based on Vastu and not based on regional, historical preferences. Then only a country will improve. We have to be pragmatic and we have to bury the past and move ahead to the future with proper orientation of each state. Even Andhra Pradesh, after it has been bifurcated, has gone on the wrong side of bifurcation and it has affected Andhra a lot, it has affected Telangana also. So Andhra Pradesh before bifurcation was much better than Andhra Pradesh now after bifurcation into two. So when we are bifurcating a state, we have to be very careful of the borders of we are creating of the state, and it should not lead to increase in conflict. It should decrease conflict. So this is where the knowledge of Vastu, which is coming up again, because we are in brokerage, will help us rearrange borders in the future, if not now. So if the government thinks over this and then changes all this, it will still help us before the war. It will still help us in a better foothold and lead to less loss of lives. Now, this is the current shape of Ladakh. Again, southeast has increased. Southwest is gone into Kashmir. So Kashmir is in the northwest of Ladakh, and Kashmir has always had an upper hand over Ladakh. Even the police in Jammu and Kashmir, when Ladakh was part of Jammu and Kashmir, were from Kashmir. There were no local Ladakhi police. And that was one of the main reasons why Ladakh did not like Kashmiris at all. Even today, they don't like Kashmiris. This is a fact because they have been suppressed by the Kashmiris. And they are very happy that the government has created a separate union territory for themselves. This is a fact. If you go to the ground situation, you will say that the Ladakhis are very, very happy that they have been separated from Kashmir. Every child, even the girls, I have been to these places. Even the girls used to travel all the way to Delhi to study in Delhi. Now they have colleges and everything in Ladakh. There are colleges and every institute in Kashmir itself. So people do not go to Delhi. This is where development makes a difference. And people don't need to leave their children, leave their parents, and then go far away and then study. Even for studies, people have to migrate to other states, which is a shame. So this is the situation. So we have Siachen Glacier in the northeast. So this will be a point of conflict for sure, because neither China nor Pakistan is happy with the surveillance which we gain from this area towards Karakoram Pass and towards Saxkham Valley and towards Gilgit-Baltistan. This is at such a height that we can easily overcome any attacks from these areas if we put our mind to it. And because of this area, we are the best in the world in mountain warfare. No other country can attack us and defeat us in mountain warfare. If they use missiles, if they use SAM, surface to air missiles, and other things, that's a different scenario. But ground level attacks, the boots on the ground, they will not be able to do it because of the experience which we have in this region. And that makes a big statement because that is why 40 people could kill, 20 people could kill 140 people in Galwan. Now, because of these situations, we all understand from the Vastu point of view that conflict will continue and it will not disappear. We cannot push it under the carpet. So now let's see the next aspect. That is, yeah, this is already done. The Ladakh and the Srinagar, the Jammu and Kashmir. My proposal is that we separate Kashmir and Jammu and make Kashmir separate and Jammu separate because anyway they have a lot of cultural differences. So make Kashmir separate, make Jammu separate, and keep Kargil separate and Ladakh separate. And then once we separate them, or even if we have this, we have to be prepared for a war with China and with Pakistan, but we will win over it. And then once we have done through that, we again bifurcate this area into smaller areas which have better vastu and which have no problems coming up anymore. That is conscious, knowledgeable way of doing a country up. Once we do that, we will ensure that there's peace in our country and there's power in our country. and a country will regain its original status of being the world's mother, spiritual mother. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.